Welcome to Wrestling is Hard, where every side is the dark side of the ring. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at hard4wrestling. Email questions and complaints at wrestlingishard@gmail.com. I'm Jim. Brandon, hello. Welcome. Welcome back. Hello. Hi.
Welcome
Good
back.
week.
Another week. We almost had 100. We creeping towards 100 of these things?
We're getting there. We're in the 90s. I could check,
That
but
was
I'm not
a
going to.
Celebration.
Yeah. Fireworks. I think it's sometime in October.
Set of
Chris, how are you?
Off my basement.
There you go. Chris, how's
I'm
things?
well. Had a good week.
Excellent.
Did some cool stuff that I haven't done in a while. And yeah, that's what we got. Watching drunk old people almost fall down steps all night long. It was a party.
Good stuff. Yeah. I went to wrestling.
How was that?
Yeah.
Garden State Pro Wrestling. I was a little on the
Actually,
fence. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think you were at MST, dude. Anywhere but where Taven shows up it becomes Madison Square Taven, right?
Well, I'll get there. So, yeah, Madison's. Yeah, it was Madison Square Taven, right? We went to. I went to Garden State Pro Wrestling up in North Jersey in lovely Roselle, New Jersey. Ever been to Roselle, New Jersey, Brandon?
No, never even heard of Roselle.
Chris, Roselle, New Jersey. Ever seen the place?
Yeah, it's the birthplace of Pete Rozelle, I believe, former
there you
NFL commissioner.
That's why they named the town that. They changed the name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Roselle, New Jersey. Drove up there with a family member, a ridiculous family member that I asked at the last minute because I had nobody to go with and I wasn't going to go alone. And he said yes, surprisingly. So we cruised up there in the afternoon, ended up there around 5 o'clock. Pull up. It's in a ice skating rink in the middle of a beautiful park in the middle of Jersey, looking up places to eat. Now, this guy the person I went with is very meat and potatoes described. So I was like looking around. I'm like, let's find you a steakhouse. Let's go for a steakhouse. I find a steakhouse in the middle of town. So we cruise into town. It's like pretty much Little Columbia, which I was not expecting. I was very excited when I saw it. I was like, this is amazing. Amazing town. A lot of Colombians. Colombian restaurants all over the place. But I knew for a fact that he was not going to eat anything with any spice whatsoever. So we ended up going to a diner. And he didn't like any of that food either. So we ended up going to wrestling. And we had a good time. Anyway, it was fun. Yeah. I saw Jungle Kiona. We saw Yuyu Uemura. And then they called for intermission. And I looked at him. I was like, we got an hour and a half to drive home. You ready to go? I saw who I wanted to see. He was like, yeah, sure. So we hopped in the car. And lo and behold, after I left, Madison Square Taven showed up. So disappointing that Matt Taven was there and I wasn't. Brandon, thoughts on Matt Taven?
Surprise guest, one of the greatest of all time.
You wanna tell
Leveled
the story?
MSG. I don't know how much of a story it is, but we went to that New Japan Supercard with Ring of Honor, and there's a stark difference in the two groups of what show you were there for. And Matt Taven, I guess, won one of the Ring of Honor belts in what was their main event, and they were selling Ring of Honor merchandise with the MSG logo, but it was purple, and instead of Madison Square Garden, it was a Madison Square Taven. One of the dumbest wrestling T-shirts I think that you'll ever see. I still check on pro wrestling tees every once in a while because at some point it's going to be $4.99, and that's when I will buy it.
I will scoop that up at $4.99. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. People were very upset that Matt Taven won, and then they all left. So Matt Taven holds a little place in my heart. I will always remember Madison Square Taven. We were there the night Madison Square Taven.
Half of the arena left.
Yep.
And we're so angry that they left because Madison Square Taven won. And it made them so mad that they missed Kazuchika Okada win the IWGP title back from Switchblade Jay White.
Yep.
In a show that was essentially a New Japan show, not a Ring of Honor show. I sense the only people that think Ring of Honor is important
were the people in
Ring
that
of
stadium.
Honor fans.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, but I'm not a huge NBA fan, but I sense its importance in the landscape of American sports, right? I mean, it's not like I'm not going to sit here and go, who cares? Like, it's fucking, it's just, I mean, even with professional wrestling, I don't watch WWE, but I get it's the biggest company out there and has the most draw. So I don't know. I just find it funny that like Ring of Honor fans, I think, have always overemphasized its importance.
Mm-hmm. Now it's funny because they got to be pulling, or at least they were near the end. They had to be pulling the same numbers that TNA Impact was. Like people coming to the shows, like no one. Do people look at Impact as important as Ring of Honor? You think even Impact fans think that way?
I don't think so. That's why I mean it's not like nobody. It's almost like nobody. Like even Impact fans, like, yeah, whatever. It's the wrestling that comes to my house, close to my house, so I go. And they do have some people. I guess like even like Ring of Honor. We went to Ring of Honor to see New Japan guys.
Right.
We never went to see Ring of Honor dudes.
But they had like all the main eventers that are available today, and both companies were worked in Ring of Honor at some point.
Yeah, but
we'd seen a bunch of them.
I'm trying to think. Like, yeah, I mean,
like Adam Page was like some young guy that was with the guy with the bald head that had the what was that dude's name? I saw him at ringside at an AEW show recently. Austin. What was his name?
Bald head, Stone Cold.
It wasn't Stone Cold.
They were called. They had a group, and he was like the dude in the group, and he
was like the leader.
He was essentially their Kevin Sullivan, is what he was.
Yeah.
And they kidnapped Carino's kid.
Yep, and Carino's kid turned evil. Cheeseburger.
Dad, I don't remember. I'm gonna look him up. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Brandon.
Do you know anyone? You guys know more wrestling people than I do. Would either of you say you know anyone that considers themselves an Impact Wrestling fan?
Not that I know of. Dude, you think I know more wrestling people? I know like 2 other people that watch wrestling. 3 other people. I was realizing this when I was like, besides the people that are like involved, like the 3 of us, and the people we know that like occasionally we go to shows with, that's the only people I know. I don't know.
I guess when I say no, I mean when you would have WrestleMania or something at Lorraine, we would get some,
right.
some guys that were like wrestling guys. Yeah. Nakamura guy that would stand right in front of the TV the whole time and scream. The guy with the long hair and the brown teeth, that was pretty funny.
Oh, the guy with the ripped underwear.
Oh,
yeah. We had the shitty draws on.
Fucking forgot about that shit.
Jesus Christ.
BJ,
remember Chris? Remember the girl that was dressed up like Paige? Who might have been underage. Girl? What was her name? What were we calling her?
Didn't we call her Dean Ambrose girl?
Dean Ambrose girl. She was a huge fan of Dean Ambrose, but she was dressed like Paige. Yeah. Okay, Chris.
That was wild. BJ Whitmer was the
BJ Whitmer. That was his name.
And his stable was The Decade.
Yeah, The Decade. Mm-hmm. I guess it was 10 years in the Ring of Honor, and they were like, yes, okay. Yeah, that's where Adam Page came from. Anyway, this is very intriguing conversation. This is so fucking boring.
Just a
Jimmy
piping
Jacobs.
hot start.
Oh God! If last week's episode was boring, and it was, I have to listen to them back. It was pretty boring until the very end when we got laughed.
We stunk. We stunk last week.
There was nothing to talk about. We
didn't stink. Wrestling stunk.
Wrestling stunk. But this week, let's start off hot. Let's talk about Stardom. All right, I'll remind everybody, if you want to get caught up on this stuff, they give you pretty much the finishes to all these fucking shows on their YouTube channel. Go subscribe to their YouTube channel. Watch We Are Stardom. Watch the highlights. You can pretty much get the gist of everything that's going on that isn't a pay-per-view. But first, they had the pay-per-view. They had a Yokohama Budokan 5-star tournament show. We were blessed with Saya Kamitani versus Suzu Suzuki in a wild-ass fucking match. Brandon, thoughts?
Yeah, Jimmy's #1 favorite wrestler of all time. He's got a keychain to prove it.
That's right.
I saw first time that these 2 young stars are going head-to-head. It was a violent one, yeah. So Saya Kamitani kind of ahead of her early in their career, but Suzu Suzuki gets the first head-to-head victory. From a lot more to come from these 2, I'm sure.
Yeah, Chris, thoughts?
I'll tell you what, Suzu Suzuki. It's there are a lot of wrestlers out there that are not her age, that are much older and been around a lot longer, and sell a whole lot less than she does. Like, she's always on.
Interesting thing about Suzu Suzuki, and one of the knocks One of the things that she gets is her character, what she is, how she acts. It's defined at 19, now 20. She just turned 20. And it's similar to what Maki Ito was praised for. Like her character and all her character work was all very entertaining. But Suzu Suzuki's a fucking athlete too, and she's an amazing professional wrestler. While Maki Ito, it took her years to figure this out. Suzu Suzuki's already figured out the hard part, which is developing a character. And she just so happened to be an amazing professional wrestler. Yeah, fucking go out of your way to check out anything Suzu Suzuki's involved in, especially some of these death matches too. It's pretty fucking wild.
And I will tell you this too, because there's a couple spots in that match where it gets really messy.
Yeah, a little clunk because
it gets clunk.
Haven't worked before together.
Right.
Yeah.
It gets a little clunk. But when you're fucking always selling and you're always in character and you're working the entire match, all that shit kind of goes to the wayside.
You wouldn't even notice unless you were looking for it.
Yeah, like I'm watching it to talk about it.
Right.
So I'm kind of analyzing it, you know? So,
yeah, you kind of don't
she's
care.
Awesome.
Yeah, right.
You don't give a shit. You go, hey, look, they fucked up. But guess what? They're both fucking awesome. So it doesn't matter because 2 seconds later, I forgot that happened.
And they don't dwell on it. They're not lost in the moment where, oh, shit, we fucked up. What do we do now? They just keep going. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? The one thing that like young wrestlers do is just, in general, you'll have people that'll screw up a spot and then they'll repeat the spot, which I can't stand.
Dude,
like,
that's pretty bad.
Move on to the next one.
Yeah, just move on to the next chapter. Give the person a couple elbows in the face and then move on to the next fucking move. I hate when they redo it. They set the person up again and everything. Oh, it's so terrible looking.
Or they set them up for 30, 40 seconds and the person's foot can't get on a rope and they can't get their foot. And it's just like, just move. Just like you said, elbow them in face. Like if they're in the corner, elbow them in face and throw them on the ground. Fuck it.
Throw them on the ground. Fuck it.
Fuck the spot.
Screw it up. Just and encourage the fans if you need to. Go ahead, Brandon.
The only time you can go back to the well on a spot is when it's little guy lifting up big guy over his head.
Yeah, because you can turn it into like they're struggling.
Right.
Azumi versus Utami. Brandon, thoughts?
Zumi racking up some wins here. I watched today. These sort of technical sprints that she has, I would to use a dorky craft beer verbiage. Their matches are crushable.
Horse blanket, these horse blanket. Remember the horse blanket
IPA?
beers? These horse blanket IPAs that she's drinking.
Horse blanket IPA.
The tweed IPAs.
Yeah, it's a fun one, man. Fucking Zumi's fast. Utami slows her down. This is fucking good. This is a good ass fucking match. I loved it. And yeah, like you said, she's racking up the fucking points. I love it. I love a little stars inner faction war. It's good stuff. It's always competitive. Chris, thoughts?
Nah, we can move on. I think you guys covered it.
Mayu Iwatani versus Julia. These two don't fight very often, especially in singles matches. And this was also a fucking nasty one. Julia on the run, beating a piss out of people. Brandon, go ahead.
Yeah, my God. Violence is the word here again. Love me some Julia. These two really dishing out brain trauma to each other, dropping each other on the head. I think we get a headbutt, all kinds of shit in here. And I like throwing a draw into these. I think it helps a lot with the drama late, so you avoid the tie on the last day. I'm hoping we get Julie in a spot where she's like a point behind and needs to surpass somebody. So,
Chris,
I'll relate the first match that we talked about with Suzu Suzuki and this match. I didn't say it like with the in the first match there were some messy spots, not in this one, but talent wins out. And it got past the messy spots in the first match we talked about, and it made the talent between the two of these women. How could it be bad, right? And the draw was a nice touch.
Yeah, especially since we haven't had any, so it's throw one in there.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Now you got question marks on the last day, especially since everybody's marching up the fucking standings. Artist of Stardom title, the trios, Hideo Tai versus Stars. I always say Starlight Kid and Momo Watanabe are pretty much must-watch television. I had you guys watch this because this is what trios wrestling should be: fun and entertaining and quick. And there you go. This is a quick match. It was a sprint. It was fun. Brandon, thoughts?
Yeah, exactly. You nailed it. Good stuff all around, and kind of mind-blowing to see in I guess sort of theme of this match is putting over a wrestler who's 18 years old and looks at physically, but not performance-wise. And Starlight Kid did a nice job of kind of helping her get over with some big kickouts and shit here. So interesting.
Yep, 18-year-old Hanan, who is the artist, the Future of Stardom champ. But I think she has to go back to high school, so she's going to lose that belt.
That's fucking crazy.
Nuts.
Chris, thoughts?
You know, Momo's probably my favorite wrestler to watch right now. First of all, she comes down to the ring with the wrench. Nobody thinks to take it away from her.
Nope.
She just comes down with it. This one, she was banging it on the belt, tapping it on the belt. Her character work, her facial expressions. Isn't this the woman that Meltzer said was too out of shape to be in the main card at Wrestle Kingdom, and they took her out?
Yes, it was.
That what he claimed was fact.
He was fat shaming 20 at the time. She was 20 years old.
Yeah. So I have in my notes, so I want to make sure I get it out. Meltzer, I know you're listening. Just for that, never mind the other shit you say. You're a fucking cunt.
There you go.
She's awesome. I think there was a show Ryuken in this match.
There was. I caught
one.
That's Saki Kashima.
And Starlight Kid's on fire. I mean, she's on fucking fire, and her promo work is fucking phenomenal.
And
the way she delivers everything.
She's losing.
Yes.
Like she always loses. She rarely ever wins. But it's almost like since she became evil, she's unlocked this. She used to be like the underdog. Now she's like punching out of her weight. But man, she makes her fucking engaging all the time. And she looks cool as shit. That's hell anyway.
I would like to say real quick.
Yeah,
I did notice with their tag matches, they very little of the like shitty tropey ref distractions. Like their way, and I guess you could say it's New Japan does it, just a Japanese style where it's not distract the ref, bad guys beat up the good guys, and then the good guy goes, "Come on, ref, look what's going on." They don't do any of that shit. All that stuff is done just a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's much better. I think it's much better just when they're allowed to kind of go with the flow. And I think we kind of shit on AEW for doing that. But they do the same thing. But I just think we're so accustomed to seeing wrestling in the United States with that. They don't do it this way. So when you watch American wrestling do it, we're kind of like not used to it. So we complain. But Japanese wrestling, there's all this like three guys in the ring beating up on one dude. And then the ref just is kind of watching. And I don't know. It kind of works here. So I'm glad I noticed that because I might watch some of these AEW tag team matches a little bit differently than I was watching them before after that.
Right. I think there's a little difference in between the Japanese wrestling when they do it because it's established that they want the talent to finish the match, and they don't want to be the one that ends it. So they put up with a lot more bullshit, and they'll also interfere with like Momo pulls out the wrench, the ref will grab it out of her hand if he sees it.
Right.
Or a chair comes out. If the ref sees it, he'll grab it. As opposed to in the other one, they're just, fucking AEW.
Aerosol spraying each other in the face.
I'm gonna draw a parallel here, and it's coincidental that one of these things I'm gonna mention is Japanese and the other thing is American. But I think it's just when you try to do something, you can't achieve it. It's almost like you have to do it naturally. It has to happen organically. If you force it, it doesn't look right. Well, two shows, Iron Chef and Ninja Warrior in Japan were both great. Then they tried to mirror those things in the United States, and they just came out like shit because it wasn't organic. It was we're going to try to make this show like the original version. It's just not. It's just like it's not exactly the same. It's like when you try to make camp, like really try to make a campy movie, it just is like bad.
Like intentional camp, like Traumaville stuff.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. It's just like
which I'm sorry if you watch it and you love it. That's your thing. That's fine. Just not my thing.
Right.
I like unintentional camp.
I like, shit. I like shit that they're really serious when they're making it. Like, this is gonna be fucking great.
Right. Got us Stardom titles. Tom Nakano and Natsupoi defeated the God's Eye team of Mirai and Emi Sori. Emi Sori gets a lot of this was a match to make her look good, and she looked fucking amazing. And champs retain. Go ahead, Brent.
Yeah, I didn't have too much on this one, to be honest. Probably a little bit worn out from the matches before it that I thought were great. This was good. Interesting to see tag titles main event this show here.
Yeah. Chris, you got any thoughts on?
Nah, you can move on.
Yeah. Just the love affair between Tom Nakano and Natsupoi is becoming more intense. And I saw there's some video from ringside where they show that Unagi, Sayaka, and Mina Shirakawa are getting upset. And it's not in a way that's like they're just not holding their weight, if you know what I mean. Like they're not performing. Tom's leaving them behind. Tom's going with Natsupoi, and she's getting involved in these important matches, and she's doing these promos about how they're going to, be together forever and all this shit. While the other people that are involved in the faction are kind of not doing a great job. Especially Unagi. Unagi's fucking 2 points. So it's pretty interesting. Moving on to Cork and Hall. Not a great show, but there was a couple of really good ones. The Zumi versus Risa Sera was really good. Go ahead, Bernie.
Yeah, I agree. I watched this one first, and this inspired me after watching the other one to go with the crushable term. Again, 7 minutes, speed versus technicality, and easy to watch, enjoyable.
Chris?
Yeah, I'm with Brandon. Kind of a sprint, but it was really good.
Yeah, sprints are good. Then we get the big one, the tears one. Tom Nakano defeats Unagi Sayaka. Sayaka was Unagi was pretty upset. And as I was leading into before, you can tell that it's like not a thing where necessarily she's upset because she's jealous. I think it's more has to do with that they're not performing. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. They're not winning. Unagi Sayaka was like near the top of the brackets last year. But there is, I think, the light at the end of the tunnel of all this is that we got tag tournament coming up, and the champs are Tom Nakano and Natsupoi, and I think Unagi and Mina Shirakawa might win this tag tournament. Put them in the middle of it. I think this is all build to that. Should be cool. Brand thoughts?
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't totally pick up on before this podcast the part about how they're failing compared to previous years, but you can still feel that storyline going on within the match itself without knowing that. And Jesus, this felt personal. The emotional release from both of them at the end, I thought was good stuff. However, there is like, I try to put this properly. Like Stardom is still somewhat strange to me sometimes, and this was definitely just the aesthetics of it, I think. And this was one of those moments where you're watching these fucking two women crying in the ring in shock and exhaustion, and they're like immediately pumping in like piano pop EDM over it, and it's just like that's very Stardom aesthetic and like very silly to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I'll tell you, man. I the emotion. It's just I love it. A year ago, and I think this might be a little bit of a roadblock for American wrestling fans trying to watch Stardom. A year ago, I would have been like, "This is what the fuck? Like, this is just too much."
Mm-hmm.
It's almost verging on. It's not verging. It is in full overdone silly mode when you get to that point, because it's so emotional. But once you understand the way these stories are told, it's completely necessary. I think maybe Brandon, this might make a little sense to you because of what you were saying. Like it's being when you're used to watching American wrestling, and they're essentially like, I am walking down this ramp now. Like everything they do, they're basically just, it's so obvious, right? I'm going to make a right and go up the steps. Like everything is like they don't actually do that, but the emotion is, there's no subtlety. You get punched in the face with everything that happens. You could tell this guy's going to turn on that guy 6 months before it happens. It's just a matter of when and how they pull the trigger. So I think when you're accustomed to watching American wrestling and then you see subtlety and actual character work and like real drama, and you're kind of like, what's happening here? This isn't the way it's supposed to be. And it takes you a minute to kind of wrap your head around it. But they do it well, and it's got me hooked. I love it.
Exaggerated melodrama. I love it. It's like a soap opera. Isn't that what
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
watching it for? The soap opera aspect. Yeah, Brent.
Drama.
I completely agree with you, Chris, and that that's a really good point. I think the part that makes it as funnier to me, and you touched on this, is just the like teen poppiness to so much of it over the top, which is like really adds that goofy layer to it, which I think is appropriate. But in that moment, I was like, will they fucking turn this song down? Jesus Christ.
The funny thing is that it's Team Poppy, but both Tom and Unagi Sayaka are both in their 30s. Yeah. You wouldn't be able to tell by looking at them, but yeah, they're in their 30s easily. Last match in the card, Mayu Iwatani and Suzu Suzuki. We're going to talk a lot about Suzu Suzuki in the next few weeks. I always talk about her, and I'm going to talk about her some more. Another one. This one, Mayu pulls out the win. Suzu goes for the finisher. She gets rolled up. This was a fucking good one. Okay.
Yeah, very entertaining for the duration of it. Jimmy's number one favorite wrestler on the planet, Suzu Suzuki, has a keychain to prove it. Suzuki kind of crushes her. I mean, they're firing each other all over the ring. It's usually Suzuki doing it, and she goes back to the well one too many times, gets rolled up like you referenced, and she's like in shock about it. She starts kind of fucking up the ref. Fun for the majority of it. Don't know how I feel about the finish. Not saying I don't like it, but I was like,
Chris, go.
I don't know. Maybe I saw this. Maybe it didn't happen, and I think it happened. But I could have sworn I saw Mayu fucking cheat and grab her tights at the end.
She did. She grabbed her tights at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was like, holy shit, she just fucking cheated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was awesome. I love it.
She's
when
not
it's
above
like,
it.
Yeah.
She's like the dumbass baby face, but she's not above cheating. It's like Tanahashi isn't above cheating either.
Yeah.
You got to win. You got to win. Good eye. I don't think anybody saw that.
No, I caught it.
Cool.
I heard you guys talking about it. I was like, maybe I didn't see that. Maybe it was just her hand was there, but I was like, nah. And then Suzu Suzuki immediately went after the ref.
Yeah.
Grab my fucking
tights, grab my fucking tights.
Fucker.
Right. He's like, well, is it third? So standings times. Okay, I'll go from the bottom. Red Stars, we got Unagi and Momo Kogo, who are both eliminated with 2 points. Saki, who is still in it, she's got 8 points. Saki Kashima's got 8 points. Mai Sakurai with 9 points. It looks like she's leading towards maybe a death match. We'll talk about that next week, I guess. Kogo's got 10. Utami Hayashi, Siri and Himika all three of them have 12. We got Risa Serra on 13. Then tied at the top, we have Azumi, Tom Nakano, and Maika with 14 points. Maika making a run at the end here. She always seems to be in the middle of it. And in Blue Stars, this is where it starts to get messy. So Hanan's out. She's got 0 points. Saida's got 4 points. This is with, I believe, yesterday's results involved. Mina Shirakawa's got 6. Momo Watanabe is out with 6 points. Cheated a little bit too much. Suzu Suzuki. She's got 3 matches back. She's got 8 points. She's climbing. Starlight Kid's got 10. Natsupoi's got 10. Amy Stori's got 10. Then we got Amayo Iwatani with 11. And then we got a 3-way tie in second place. Sai Kamitani, Mirai, and Julia. And on top, a person who hasn't won a match in a while, Hazuki, with 14 points. So there you go. So that fucking last match, as I said, from the moment we started covering this, that last match between Suzu Suzuki and Julia on the last day is going to be fucking big. I think she's got Suzuki's got 3 matches left, 2 points each. That gives her 12, right? She could get there, I guess.
Momo's out. I'm not watching anymore.
Okay,
like maybe rough percentage wise, how far into this are
almost
we?
done. The problem is that we had some issues with Suzuki being injured, so she's banging out a bunch of matches now. The last day, I believe, is just October 10th.
So maybe, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. No. Ask.
I was gonna say, like, okay, maybe this isn't the best time to do it, but right before we get to the end here, we don't know what's gonna happen. Who would you say are the biggest like movers and shakers up the Stardom power rankings to date due to this?
Best performance from the tournament, you think, so far?
Yeah, just like whose reputation has sort of climbed the most through this. Maybe not just based off of wins, but
right. So, I just on bangers, I guess. Azumi, Risa Serra, who isn't part of Stardom, but she's been great. Himika's been okay. Siri loses a bunch, but somehow has 12 points. I think her tournament's done. I don't think she's had a great match in this whole tournament, but neither has Utami or any of the big dogs. They've kind of just been there to lose a couple of matches. My Sakurai's been entertaining. Saki's been cool. Suzu Suzuki's been awesome. Starlight Kid loses, but she's good. Natsupoi. Amy Sourei, she's another girl that's newer. She's climbing up. But like at the top, I think Julia's been the most entertaining wrestler in this fucking thing. She just has such star power. I mean, Mariah's really good too, but Julia, like top to bottom, has so much star power. She looks like, like she should be the champ. She looks like the fucking champ, Julia. So every time she comes to, every time I know she's on the show, I immediately run to go watch it. You know what I mean?
Which is probably the highest compliment you could get.
Right. She's got drawing power. Her looks, her moveset, everything. It's great. Her song, the whole thing. Hold on. Julia's the best. We all love Julia, as she likes to tell us.
How do we do, boss? I think our Stardom reviews are getting a little better here over time.
I'm trying to find this Stardom in fucking. So they got this show. I thought I had it here. Yeah, whatever. We'll talk about it. Review. We're not gonna be able to watch it. They got this Stardom and Showcase show where it's so there's Stardom Earth 1, which is the Stardom that the 5-star is happening in. And then there's Stardom Earth 2 with like hardcore matches and the whole skeleton thing choking Rosie Ogawa is in there and falls count everywhere matches. So they got these wild ass fucking matches. I had them listed, but I can't find them. Whatever. We'll talk about them next week. Can't watch them for a week anyway. There you go. That's our Stardom. Any questions, concerns, thoughts? Anything before we move on? Brandon?
No, I'm good.
Chris?
No, we're good.
Okay. On AEW, first up, Malachi Black. He is officially leaving. He made a statement saying that basically he's dealing with the mental, emotional, psychological, every single type of problem you can have, physical, and he needs some time off. He said he'll be back, but according to Meltzer said he was trying to leave, but they won't let him out of his contract, whatever that means, whatever Meltzer means. And immediately, the internet shows its true face and doesn't care about his mental or physical well-being and just starts saying, go WWE. He's going WWE. He's going with his wife. Also, they're breaking up. Him and his wife are divorcing. Good time. Social media is amazing. It's done so much for the world. Brandon, thoughts?
On social media?
God, we got enough fucking bandwidth to talk about that.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I would expect absolutely nothing different than for them to react like that. And right at the top of the pack here, if you Google Malachi Black leaving, you get a top news article. In quotes, he wanted to go to WWE. Dave Meltzer on Malachi Black leaving AEW. So fucking course, King Goober of the IWC is driving that story along. But good for him, Malachi. I'm surprised. I like when people do this if they need to, which should happen more. And if he has the financial ability to take some fucking time off and get his head and body right, do it.
Tear that smock. Chris, thoughts?
A little rending. Never hurt anybody. A little. Yeah, he's. It's amazing to me that like, I don't even know how to say it. Like, I don't even know how to put it. That fucking goober Meltzer. You're the one he's going to talk to. Oh, I got the scoop. Where did you hear this? Can you
Someone else
please
told him.
name a source?
They never.
Just one.
Aunt Sherry.
Right, Aunt Sherry that he went to the tennis match with. What was it, Andrew Federer? Who did they go say?
Roger Federer was.
Right, I said Andrew Federer.
So
Is there an
Kenny
Andrew
Omega's the
Federer?
Roger Federer here.
That's right.
She usually likes tennis, but she saw the Young Bucks and was like, wow.
Yeah,
Dude, that's so funny. I forget about that. Sorry to interrupt. That guy was
No, that's
fucking
all right.
sleeping in a tiny little cruise room with his aunt on the
On the Jericho
on a pro
cruise.
wrestling cruise.
Was it his aunt or his cousin? Doesn't matter.
I feel like it was
It
an
was his
aunt.
cousin.
It's better if it's his aunt.
It's his aunt.
If it's his
She's like
cousin, they're fucking.
107.
If it's their aunt, he's also fucking her.
It's 107. She's like fucking. He
Walking around on her fucking 4-way walker.
a walker with tennis balls on it, like that, like with
I don't want to scrape up the hardwoods of the boat.
the old lady that Costanza plows over. He's walking like that.
Doing the fire? Yeah, the fire.
Hey, I think he made a comment in his statement about promises that were made that weren't kept. You know, and we always talk about this, like, whoa, I mean, he was told he was going to be champ. Maybe he was told he was going to be in some. I don't think a lot of these guys aren't like, oh, I want to be a champion or I'm not coming.
What's the
Like,
point?
it's got to make
No,
sense.
there's only one.
They
There's
are
can only
artists.
be one champ at a time.
Right.
And there's 50 people on the roster.
Right. Just give me something cool to do. Right. And they never really they didn't flush out anything. They never fleshed out anything with that dude. It was always just kind of like a half step, right? Like, we'll go into a storyline. And now I would say the Miro thing probably didn't happen because obviously this guy was hurt. But you know, it's just, who knows? That's the one thing about this, that, you know, when you hear these guys like Meltzer talk like it's fact, none of us know.
No, we never will
Right?
either.
You never will. And it's the nature of what these guys do. It's the nature of wrestling that they keep everything, or they try to keep everything, a secret. So
The only thing we
anytime
do
you hear
know, the
anything-
only thing we do know is that we saw Kenny Omega in Japan with bite marks on his arm. So therefore, Ace Steel actually bit him.
Yeah, that's it.
That's true.
Or did was that from Larry? Did Larry bite him when he was trying to
My
rescue?
guy.
No, it's when Ace Steel turned into Larry when,
Ah.
when he anamorphed.
He was like, Snoop Doggy Dog, running that tat.
Brandon, final thoughts?
No, I'm good, man.
Also, it's just news that I just found out about I don't know, 30 minutes ago. Sammy Guevara said he was pretending he was leaving, and you had to watch his blog to find out. And then he said, I was thinking about leaving because no one appreciates me, like Cody, but I'm not. I'm going to stay. So there you go. Thoughts?
One pathetic loser.
What a fucking loser. AEW Dynamite. Let's talk about it. All right. Yeah. Ooh. Build up to a Grand Slam Tournament of Champions, the semifinal. Jon Moxley defeats Sammy Guevara. There you go. Brandon, thoughts?
Sorry, I was pulling up the "You Are One Pathetic Loser" Dumb and Dumber clip. We're doing Moxley
are-
versus good.
Yeah, sure. Why not? You are one pathetic loser.
You are one pathetic loser.
We should start doing that. We should start being like a shitty morning show and start having
We
like
have
queued up
dropped-
stuff.
I'll get one of those things.
Yeah, the,
You spin.
there you go.
Hey, welcome to the show. This is Wrestling Is Hard podcast. Bonk, bonk. Awooga, awooga. It's 78 degrees right here in South New Jersey.
Drop it
right
lows,
now,
drop
it's
it lows.
Rico Kasich in the cars. You gave me just what I needed. That's right, nigga. Do like fucking the guy that talks
Radio
over all the sings the songs, you know.
Geeter with the heater.
Gator. Yeah.
If you're not from the Philadelphia area, look up the Geeter with the heater. What's his real name?
Jerry Blavat,
Yeah, Jerry Blavat.
Blavat, tried to take my now current wife home with him one night because he's a jitbag.
There you go. Small world.
Jerry
Brandon,
the
thoughts?
Jitbag.
Jetbag.
Jerry the jitbag.
Any thoughts?
We don't have a
Also, I'm
like
sorry.
real-
Also,
Go
if
ahead,
you're not
Chris.
from the
Finish your
Philadelphia
story.
area,
Yeah, Chris.
if you're not from the Philadelphia area, you're gonna have to Google jitbag because apparently that's only something from up here.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Our stepfather used to
Wait.
call us jits.
And we deserved it. We were
Yeah,
children.
what is it? Is it? I always assume jit is just a single piece of jizz. A single jizz.
One
is a jit.
squirt. One squirt.
When squirt a jit.
That's
Get
all you
one
are is
squirt.
one. You're one jizz.
Then
Like when you're
pull
like,
that rubber off, that's your
and
bag.
just one random John comes out, drips out the front. That's one jit.
We all started it as a jit in a jizz.
There you go. One single individual sperm cell inside of jizz. There you go. We got a science lesson. There you go. Thanks, guys.
I think
Thanks
I'm
for tuning
laughing
in.
though about we don't have a real soundboard going back to that, and it's just Chris with like a table full of shit that he's just like manually using, like he's breaking plates on the ground next to him, and
I like it. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna use one of those spinning rattle things that little kids use on New Year's.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's like those fucking the old like 30s and 40s radio
dramas.
He's got like a foot pedal that sets off a cuckoo clock.
The Lone
Oh
Ranger.
no, he's got a gun. Pop a balloon.
The rifleman.
Hey guys,
Chuck Connors.
listeners, this is how good fucking Dynamite was. No, it was
Yep.
okay, I guess. Go ahead. Yeah, thoughts on this
decent
match?
matches here. I thought it was interesting that they put both of these semifinal matches on Dynamite. I don't know what that says about Rampage
sucking?
or what they think about the ratings on Wednesday. How much they care about the ratings on Wednesday. It's kind of a weird matchup, these two together, and maybe it's just my lack of respect for Sammy Guevara. But this felt like one of those matches that shouldn't have been as dramatic as it was. I
Yeah.
don't think you need to try to have a big match with everyone when it comes at the cost of sort of devaluing your top guy at this current state of time. Like you have Jon Moxley pounding on Sammy Guevara, and he's still able to immediately roll out a Spanish Fly, and is like good to go ready after that. So,
Yeah.
it's a
Chris,
vibe
thoughts?
here.
Yeah, I got nothing. I don't care about any of this shit. I'll be honest with you. I think they're really forcing a fucking tournament down our throat because
Well, they are. We talked about that last week. They have no choice. They got to do tournaments.
Yeah, I mean,
Could have just
I
held
know.
it over to fucking create
That's
a
what I'm
tournament, build to it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why don't we step? You don't have to immediately do something. Can't you just kind of step back and let it marinate, right? Let some things work themselves out, right? And then come back at a later date and
There you go.
finish it up for the pay-per-view.
Well, they built.
You
I
know?
guess it's because they built this Arthur Ashe Stadium show up so much immediately after a pay-per-view, so there's no time to even build to it. So they're like, "Oh, we gotta have a tournament. When in doubt, tournament time."
Yeah.
Oh, well.
No storytelling ever.
Yeah.
Tournaments are lazy. I'm sorry. It's
Yeah.
just the way. Like,
Well, we talked
don't
about
know
it.
what
The
to
only
do.
way that a tournament works is if it's a destination on your calendar. It happens in the spring. It happens in the fall. It happens in the winter. It happens in the summer. If it's a destination, everything builds to it. Now it has lots of, like, getting in it is a big deal. I've got to earn my way into this tournament. Like G1 Climax. If you're getting in G1 Climax, that's a big fucking deal. Because you know that it's prestigious. But when you're just like, today, what was the fucking Jim Crockett's wife when she was doing the tag tournament in the 80s?
Here are
Here are the
the
contestants in the Jim
seeds for the
Crockett
annual Crockett Cup. Number 5.
Okay.
This is thrilling radio.
That is great.
Fucking dynamite.
You and I
Thanks,
get that.
Tony
Khan.
Khan.
You and I get that reference. Yeah, it's it's there's nothing to it. He's just like, oh, here's the people, and why did they qualify? Oh, they had a title before. Danielson. He had titles in other companies. He never. I guess Ring of Honor counts.
Yeah, they count.
There we
Ring of
go.
Honor.
Back to the Ring of Honor fucking reference.
I will tell you this, and this is where I think they made a misstep. Seriously, you might disagree with me, whatever. I think if you're in a situation where it's a complete fucking mess, right? So unless one of these guys, either Mox or Danielson, were going to wrestle Punk and win the title from him, so you're just going to just bridge that gap and get to where you were going anyway. So if that was your plan, then this is fine. But really, when you're in a fucking complete, what looks like a complete mess as far as your title picture goes and everything else on the show, everything looks kind of messy right now. I think you put the fucking title on Jericho. I think he's guaranteed fucking money. He's a good guy to right the ship as a fucking champion, and you can leave it on him for a while because he never really gets boring.
But I think he's, like I said last week, supposedly he and Moxley were going on vacay.
Yeah.
So Moxley ain't winning this fucking thing. It's got to be Danielson that wins.
Also,
Jericho's also going to take a walk for a while.
Also, when you let us know everything that's going on in the fucking business like they do,
Yeah.
right? Now there's no suspense.
Right.
Way to go, guys.
Could you imagine being John Moxley and having a ticket to go to a fucking island? Now he's got to cancel it. Did we talk about this already?
Yeah, we talked about it last week. I
No, we
think.
did. Yeah. Can you imagine
Oops,
that shit?
Tony needs me. I would fucking, you know what I would do? I would go right
grab
up
by
to
the
all of them fucking punk and fucking Steel. I'd pluck fucking Steel's teeth out with a fucking plier so he
You
couldn't
would
bite me. And then
replace
I
them
would
with-
slap all of them, all fucking how many? 1, 2, 3, all 5 of them. I just slap them like fucking, fucking Three Stooges style. Now see me, you son of a bitch. I was supposed to be in Turks and Caicos.
Giggles. Let me
Also,
follow up
just
on that.
like, why do we know that? Like, just such a sad state of affairs that we just signed up to do a wrestling podcast for fun, and we have to sit and be like, well, John Moxley has a vacation booked, so I
Right.
don't think
Yeah,
he's
I gotta
gonna
be
win."
that guy.
It's like, God damn it! I just want to watch the fucking show.
Well, the difference is that we took all that information and we made it fun and interesting, unlike Meltzer, who would just be like, well, So that's
I
the
hope you're not-
difference between us
I
and
hope you're
other
not coming
people.
here for
We're
facts.
actually having fun doing this. Short circuiting fucking robot. We're back to the fucking.
Yeah. Fucking yeah, just Price is Right sounds. The yodeling.
Oh, or the best one. When you lose.
That's what I was going for.
Yeah, he did well. What else to talk about? Nothing. Oh, Tony Storm Athena versus Serena Deeb and Britt Baker. Decent match. Good one. Keep it up. Keep this going. Keep Tony Storm at the top of the card. That's exactly where she needs to be. Brandon thoughts?
Yeah, agreed. And Jamie Hayter continues to be somewhat interesting here.
Athena also looked spectacular. Chris, thoughts?
Yeah, she looked great.
Fucking offense was awesome.
I missed this completely.
Her
I'm
offense
sorry.
always lays in, man. She looks fucking good. Her offense is cool. Her character work is
That's where she's lacking to me, right?
Here.
She comes down to the ring. She's just too over the top. She actually
She's a nerd.
people
Be a
don't
geek.
Really act. Yeah, I get it.
There you go.
I'm trying. She's in there. She's doing it.
She is.
I'm sitting
on
in
a
front
podcast.
of a wall full of fucking toys. So, there you go.
And I
Big fucking
have
winner
a
over here.
Suzuki keychain. Yeah,
Big winner. Yeah,
And
big
a Natsuko
celebration
Tora.
over here. Wow.
And that. Oh, look. And I have a Stardom pillow. I don't know
Yo,
if you can see it.
I can see it.
See it?
No, you got to move over.
Oh,
There you go. Perfect.
Stardom pillow. I got a nice little shipment from Stardom store. Don't tell my wife. All right. How about this?
Pre-orders.
Yeah, it's all
There's
pre-ordered.
just like
It's over.
like
It's easy.
chains and locks all over that door to the room Jimmy's in.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Don't come here trying to keep my private stuff. She hears noises coming in there. She's like, "Are you in there jerking off again?" No, I'm playing with my toys. Yeah, I'm playing with my toys. I'm playing with my toy. This is very important. I've got all my action figures, and I'm in the 6th round of the G1 Climax.
Climax is the key word.
Whoa!
Get out of here! I'm playing with my guys.
I'm playing with my men.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Yes.
During the lockdown portion of the pandemic,
Mhm.
I had straight up rumbles with like He-Man.
With your dudes?
I don't give a fuck.
Good. Good
Yep.
for you.
Let's go.
Let's fucking do it. We got to videotape it. Let's do stop motion like friggin' Gumby. Whatever. Wrestling.
I'll just do it with my hands. Who the fuck do I need that stop motion shit? I can be able to
Move
put
their
out one a
arms.
day.
There you go. Chris Jericho versus Bryan Danielson. Brandon, thoughts?
I like this. These two genuinely just make me happy watching them. I thought the whole thing around Danielson's ankle was pretty funny. The faces that Chris Jericho makes are always 10 out of 10 when he realizes he can just start fucking this
someone.
guy up, pulling his shoe off for like an extended period of time. And the drama of the label lock finish on TV, it's sort of timeless. Always works for me. Watching somebody's getting their head yanked back from that ringside camera angle. I hope we don't get a limpy, gimpy Danielson for this final.
Oh, we are. Then Jericho. Well, no. Let's leave it at that. Yeah. Yeah. This is good. I love this match. It's great. Danielson's great. Chris, thoughts?
Yeah, back to my review of a match from Stardom. How could you go wrong with these two in a match? Both professionals, both know what they're doing. I mean, like, you see the difference, right? We have a lot of deserved fun at Jericho's expense. But I mean this, and when it comes to like just his knowledge of what he's doing or how to conduct yourself or whatever, in the ring, how to sell a television program, a wrestling program, how to make things look good, how to tell a story in the ring. This guy's, 90%, 99% of that roster, he's fucking more than head and shoulders above them. This guy's been around since the fucking 90s. So, you're going to get a good match with those two. Always. I was surprised to see the LaBelle Lock finish on TV. When I was watching, I was like, I'm like, wait a minute, he's not getting to the ropes. What's happening? He's going to lose to the LaBelle Lock. Because if I'm not mistaken, not many people lose to that.
Not anymore. They used to.
Right? Yeah. Which is good, right? Come up with new shit. I go to and then you can pull it out of your pocket every once in a while. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it was good. Good stuff. Good match. Highly recommend. Final thoughts on AEW Dynamite? Generally lackluster, but the main event was really good. Right? And the women's match. Nothing? Okay. Let's move on. AEW Dynamite.
Fuck.
Good.
I thought I was just like, I can't get 1 week off without just mishandling the mute button. I
It's all
thought
good.
the
It's part of your shtick,
tag match, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
one
the
of our
tag match is pretty
features
good.
with Swerve in Our Glory against Penta and Ray Phoenix was entertaining as well. Swerve in Our Glory is kind of quietly racking up some decent tag matches here in a row. And I was just thinking it's amazing that they could have had these two versus New Day in WWE and just never did it.
Nope.
I will tell you this real quick.
Yeah, this was a good match. I forgot about that one. That was really good. Go ahead.
I'll say this. It never fails. I usually don't work on Wednesday nights. I was working last Wednesday. When the guys in their 50s were watching the baseball game, the Phillies game on one TV, and they look over in the other and they see, whenever they see, and they're like, yo, what is that guy fucking doing? It is always Penta and Ray Phoenix.
Yeah.
Every fucking time.
Yeah.
You talk about drawing eyes to a television program. Those two are fucking amazing.
Penta's
we know that. We talk about it all the time.
He's one of the coolest looking fucking professional wrestlers on the planet.
Ever.
He's amazing looking.
Yeah.
Fucking skeleton ninja. He's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Bone breaking skeleton ninja.
Yeah.
How could you go wrong?
Every time anybody sees him walk into the ring, the way he sachets into the ring with his hands back and his chest pushed out, that barrel chest, straight out of Mexico City, that barrel chest.
Fucking amazing.
How much Miedo? How much Miedo for Penta, Chris?
I'm gonna go with 0.
I'm gonna go with Seto.
He doesn't have
Seto.
any.
Yeah,
He's
Seto.
lacking Miedo.
Yeah. Slap the shield, stick the M fingers right in your face. All right, AEW Dynamite Grand Slam card. You ready for this? See what we've got. We get Danielson versus Jon Moxley for the interim championship. Once again, we get an interim champion, right? We get Swerve in Our Glory versus the Acclaimed. Isn't it interim?
I don't think it is. I think he was stripped.
Oh, it was stripped.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't say interim on there.
We're all suspended. You get suspended, you lose your title. If they make it interim, then somebody's convinced Tony Khan. Tony Khan
it's not interim.
Again.
You're right. I'm just looking at the women's match. So I'll go with the women's match. AEW Interim Women's World Championship. We get Toni Storm versus Serena Deeb versus Athena versus Dr. Britt Baker. Does this get more than 8 minutes?
Gets one commercial break.
Yeah. Swerve in Our Glory versus the Acclaim for the tag title. And we get the All-Atlantic Championship. Pac versus Orange Cassidy. Oh, we forgot to mention Ethan Page kicking the pizza guy in the face. Chris, tell me you didn't miss this?
No, I saw it. I watched it happen live.
I watched it 100 times. Hey, I'm a Luigi Primo. Oh, and he falls over like a slug. I thought it was fucking hilarious. Brandon, did you love it as much as I did? Apparently, Chris did not like it.
I was just dumb.
Of
It was
course.
dumb.
So stupid.
It wasn't. No. No, it was just no.
Are
I'm
you
not buying it.
familiar with Luigi Primo though?
I saw his indie stuff. It's fucking
Okay, that's
terrible.
all you need to
It's
say.
not
Yeah,
even
it's awful.
remotely funny. It's
It's
awful.
so stupid.
It's not even stupid. It's just fucking like it's pointless. It's not like it's so stupid can be very funny.
Yeah.
It's not. It's just somebody had made a comment about it. I guess he's gonna blow up now. I'm like, that's too fucking indie, bro. That is way too indie.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be
rubber?
in
Is the
AEW.
pizza rubber?
Yeah, it's rubber.
It's rubber.
Yeah.
I would assume it's just like rubber pizza dough. No,
I wish it
I
was
don't. I
real.
don't find it. That is it's Danhausen level. It's just fucking. It's a
I
waste.
disagree. I think Danhausen's
not
a
even
little bit.
remotely funny.
I think Danhausen's a little bit more. You really got to get it. This guy is just a fucking dumbass pizza man flopping around fake ass pizza. He's skinny. He doesn't work. He's not built. He looks like they just pulled him out of a pizza place. They're like, hey, Luigi Primo, I'm gonna go make a pizza. He loses all the time. I love it. Brandon, what are your thoughts? Settle this debate.
Oh man, I think I got to go on your side here, Jim. I mean, just the fact that he found on the internet a rubber pizza dough.
Yeah, that is dedication to the fucking craft.
I was wondering if he had to have that made.
It's
Or if
so
that's something that
flimsy
you can
looking.
buy.
Like at first I thought it was cloth, but there's a video of him like making pizzas and delivering them to people, and he throws it behind him and it lands on the table, and it's the way it slaps on the table. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's rubber.
Does any part of you, Jim, want to buy one and just when you're behind the bar on Sundays, just be standing around a pizza?
I'm making a pizza. I'm making a pizza. Anybody want a pizza? With the friggin' stereotype fucking accent.
No, it's
I don't
so
know, man.
bad, dude.
It's
It's
terrible.
so
It is.
bad.
I will say that to me, he is much more entertaining in the stupid level than Danhausen has ever been. I haven't
No.
laughed at Danhausen once.
No, yeah, but I find them equally as time wasting.
There you go.
Like it's not like one's better than the other. No,
They were involved in the same segment too.
they should wrestle each other.
Now he goes out into this. Do you remember this? Did you watch the segment?
Where he gets kicked in the face.
Yeah.
That's all.
Well, then later he's basically like, I'm sick and tired of all these jokers coming in here and making jokes, and they think they're funny or a bunch of clowns. And then Danhausen comes in and he's like, yeah, let's take care of, in his Danhausen voice. And he's like, yeah, I agree with you. We should take care of all these clowns. And he's like, yeah, you're a joke, Joe. And he's like, wait, he was talking about me? It was bad, but it was good. I loved it. I thought it was terrible. It's good. There you go. I think he wants to. Ethan Page wants to go after this Atlantic Championship?
Who
I think
cares?
that's pretty much the storyline. I don't know. I'm
That's
just trying to make
because
this entertaining, man.
Yeah, I get it. But I mean,
Try
like
it. I'm trying. We're
Ethan
under an
Page,
hour.
there's
None of this is entertaining.
Ethan Page is the fucking epitome of fucking channel change material.
Yeah, he stinks.
He's so bad.
He was
Who
better when he was doing that karate.
cares?
When you watch those clips of him being Karate Man in fucking Impact.
Yeah, like it's just fuck.
Have you guys watched Dark or Dark Elevation at all lately?
And I go right to the women's matches I want to watch, and that's it.
I threw it on YouTube last week at like 1 o'clock in the morning just because I'm like, boy, I haven't checked in on this in a year. Whoa, my goodness.
It stinks.
Some
I
of
gotta
those,
be honest
there's a
with
lot
you.
of those guys where you're like, I forgot that guy was on the show 2 years ago.
Right. I gotta like when we go to AEW, which I don't know if we're going. Like we're going to go again. I don't know if it's going to be for TV taping or if it's going to be for this pay-per-view in Newark. I don't know. We haven't discussed it, but I'm telling you right now, I'm not sticking around for fucking Rampage. I don't want to be there for Rampage. I'd rather get there earlier, catch Dark, and then leave after Dynamite. There is nothing on Rampage unless they're like, here's a death match with fucking Suzuki's here. Like they got to really drag me to go to friggin' Rampage. I don't want to watch that shit.
Sorry. Suzu Suzuki versus John Moxley in a fucking death match. Then
I'll be there.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
And
It
I was
stinks.
just thinking, if they like, it just seems that they're gonna tape shows for Dark. They've made like, wouldn't you make an attempt to try to sell this to like Channel 17 in Philadelapia? Channel
local
58
syndication?
in Peoria, Illinois on Saturday morning. Like Ion Network.
Atlantic
used to
City
air-
TV.
Yeah.
What is
Ion
that company
Network.
that used to own Ring of Honor? What's their name?
That was oh God.
The
was
like
like,
right wing
Dun, dun,
news.
dun. We're white. And
Yeah,
we
what was
want
that?
this country for ourselves. It was Sinclair Broadcasting.
Sinclair Broadcasting. Yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
it.
Just sell it to
Super.
Sinclair.
Yeah. But Sinclair had a wrestling property. They got rid of it.
They did.
They
I mean, not the whole show, but syndication.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't think it would help them.
No, no.
If you're trying to get people to watch your program, giving them dark on fucking like channel 8 at 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning, anybody that sees it's going to be like, what the fuck is this crap? Production value is great, but the fucking wrestling's not good.
Yeah.
It's
Did I get
just
all the
people.
Just people.
They're just people. They're just people.
All right, we got anything else to talk about? We got AEW Dynamite Grand Slam next week. A couple more 5-star fucking matches. Well, we get Momo Watanabe versus Suzu Suzuki next week, so that should be badass. Of course, I know I know everything that happened already, which just sucks.
Yeah, but I get to watch Momo.
Yeah, she rolls.
And her half
Brandon?
smile, half frown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Brandon, what were you saying?
I don't even remember. I said, yeah, that'll be fun. Have we gotten any closer to watching Raw, Chris? You still tuning in weekly?
No.
No?
Nah, I've been busy.
Yeah, I'm not going to be watching Dynamite live anymore, which made it easier on me, but I forgot everything. Now I got to watch it on my day off. I don't work Wednesday anymore.
Oh.
I have to watch my day off, and I zone
just
out.
Do it in your free time.
Yeah, when I'm in my free time, I'm like, and here comes Hobbs, fucking Powerhouse Hobbs versus some jobber, and before you know it, I'm playing strong style, New Japan strong style.
Still.
Yeah, man, they just released Utami and fucking Starlight Kid cards. You better believe I'm playing it. There you go. That's all I got. That's all I got. There you go. All right, let's get out of here then. Another very entertaining episode. Apologize. There's not much to talk about. It's like I think we burned ourselves out on the drama of the fight. And we're waiting for like results, right? Like that's the most entertaining aspect of AEW right now is the drama behind the scenes. Am I sick of it? No. I'm not sick of the drama. I'm sick of the talk and having no answers and people just constantly fucking. The Young Bucks have changed their profile, like being the classic passive-aggressive fucking scumbags they are. They changed their profile to maybe suspended or something weird like that. It's like, why do these guys have any power if they can't fucking confront their issues? They have to go on Twitter and do it.
Fucking wuss bags.
Yeah, Brandon.
I mean, that's one of the big problems with pro wrestling, and it's kind of why the podcast trends where it does is more often than not, real life losers being fucking bozos can be more entertaining than real life losers wrestling. Them doing it in real life is more interesting than when they're fucking doing it for TV.
Fucking Kenny Omega's over in Japan with Michael Nakazawa recording for the new Yakuza game, doing voice work for that. So I'm assuming he's going to be in that.
Dude,
he's hanging out with Kota Ibushi. What's that?
He has the worst hair.
Yeah,
I hate his hair. I was watching him.
So crinkly.
I think his character's going to be like, well, yeah, it's fucking terrible.
Did you ever play a Yakuza game, Brandon?
I did, yeah. A couple hours.
It's repetitive.
Yeah.
It's repetitive. It's like you walk around, you beat people up, and then you do mini games. I mean, it looks great, and it's kind of funny. But it gets like any of eventually you get to the point where the fighting stinks. You're just like, I don't want to fight. I want to go and do a dance, fucking like a dance off. I want to go make drinks. They had the thing in the one game where you were a bartender.
Yeah, you can get great like Yakuza clips though. Some of the like segues scenes and cutaways are just absolutely outrageous. That's probably the highlight of the game. But yeah, the kind of like button mashy fighting 10 guys at the same time, it definitely gets redundant. And there's like 14 of those games.
But he's going to be in it. He and Ibushi were hanging out. So now everybody's talking about how they're fucking. You think they fucking?
What if the bite mark was from Coda?
Oh, fuck, on his dick. That wasn't his arm. That was his dick. He's got a big old hog sticking out of his sleeve. So there you go. Let's get out of here.
Okay,
Fuck it.
bye-bye now.
Yeah, let's go. Thanks for joining us this week and join us here every week at Wrestling is Hard. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Hard for Wrestling. Subscribe, follow, tell your friends. For Brandon, Chris, I'm Jim. We'll be back next week, hopefully with something a little bit more entertaining.